Guys, by the time we even got to the title fights, the UFC fans seem spent. I know Goz and I were. Sounds like Mike Bond and Danny Segura were as well after that BMF title fight. Alex Pereira, he made quick work of Jamahal Hill, finishing him in round one with a vicious left hook. Looked like a scoop punch, which is a combination of an uppercut and a hook. But, I mean, it was on point. Of course, some follow-ups did the job. How much of a gangster is Alex Pereira, Goz?
Dude, I mean, look at what he's set up here. If you look at his hit list, what he's gone through, how quickly he's just come into the UFC and taken it by storm, a huge gangster. And this is a guy that doesn't really speak the language, right? Like you have Jamal Hill, he's an American. At that press conference, he was getting booed. People love Pereira. Um, I, he fights the way everybody would want to see a fighter fight. I mean, God, it's just so interesting. Everything that comes out of his mouth. He's got a great personality. Like the sky is the limit for this guy. He just keeps growing and growing. And every time, no matter who you put in front of him, there are ways. Like when you break it down, yes, he's vulnerable in some regards, but he finds a way to win fights, and that's just so important. The way he fights these fights, I can't wait to see this guy's name pop up on a pay-per-view. I automatically buy it if I see it.
Should they consider a UFC 301 turnaround for Alex Pereira? Now, this would be at heavyweight, Danny Segura. And it wouldn't be a title fight. So I think Dana might have got confused. Nobody was really I don't think he was pushing for an Aspinall matchup. But just to kind of like, we'll say, save the card. No disrespect to Pantoja versus Urseg, but it's just not what we've been used to here since UFC 298, 299, 300. We're looking for a little bit more pop, and he said he might be interested in a heavyweight. What are your thoughts on that?
I absolutely love it, and I think this is something the UFC should actually consider. And yeah, as you mentioned, George, I think this got lost in translation in the post-fight interview, like in the octagon. I'm on very little sleep and a lot of coffee, so I don't remember exactly what he said at the presser. But I think there was a big miscommunication here because Pereira had actually said, I want to fight at UFC 301. Remember, it had been rumored that he was originally supposed to headline that against Hill, but because of lack of UFC 300 main event, they bumped him down to Saturday. But he said, I want to participate. I want to be at UFC 301. I know a title fight takes a long time to promote. That's all good. Give me a heavyweight fight. He didn't mean a title fight because a lot of people were saying, oh, Aspinall and Pereira at 301, that'd be crazy. He just wants a fight. I see this very much like when Anderson Silva was king at 185 and was going up every now and then to fight James Irving at 205, fight Stephan Bonner at 205. Very manageable fight, still very interesting because he's going up a weight class. I think there's even more interest here because he's going to heavyweight, right? 205 and 185 are somewhat similar. Bro, give him a Jairzinho Rosenstruck. Give him a De Lima. Give him somebody right at the top 15 or right outside of it at heavyweight. Why not? If you want to build the badass legend of Alex Pereira, have him fight in Brazil. UFC 301, mad respect to Pantoja, who's a stud. But like Pantoja, Urseg as the main event, Anthony Smith, Vitor Petrino. I mean, Jonathan Martinez, Jose Aldo is a damn good fight. Paul Craig, Kyle Baralio, that's your main card. Like, all respect to those guys, solid fighters, but like, you need more star power. So if you put in a heavyweight fight, say Jairzinho Rosenstruck versus Alex Pereira, dude, that'd be amazing. He took no damage. There's no weight cut involved. Somehow he's still having a big cut to 205. Don't know how he made 185. But anyways, different story for a different day. UFC, please consider it. And again, like I mentioned earlier, if he loses, I don't think that's that big of a deal. He's kind of become like a cult following, like Nate Diaz and others, where people just want to see him fight. People just want to see him do a damn arrow and say Shama. That's it.
I got a name for you. What about Taito Ivasa? Because you're looking for a brawler, right? You said De Lima
I'm
with
about
leg kikes.
I'm about it.
Jairzinho throws hands.
Sign me up. Yeah, Taito Ivasa is another great name.
Mike Bond, are you into it, or you're kind of shaking your head, or are you nodding in approval, or
you can go to Goes first on this one before I drop a bomb on this one.
Guys, look,
Kenny, cut his mic.
I understand. I get it. It's a great story. It would be tremendous. We would all be into it. But bro, is it worth the risk? I mean, KOs can change the trajectory of your career. Ask Alex Volkanovski. Ask Jamahal Hill how he feels tonight. Turning it around.
I'm gonna walk away. You guys tell me when you guys are
dude, this can be something really bad if it doesn't go his way. And I don't know that it just brings that much to the table that would make you want to want to do it. But I'm kind of curious. I want to see this bomb get dropped.
Well, I was saying protect your assets, UFC. Is that what you mean? Like, hey,
Protect
this
your
would be
assets.
nice, but it's too much, not enough reward, and a lot of risk.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys just said that pretty much. I don't think this is happening from everything I'm hearing. It would take a reversal, of course, in the UFC's thinking. But from what I heard yesterday, talking to some people, asking around, I think the UFC is content with what UFC 301 is going to be. It's not a great card. But the tickets are sold. The event has already been put on, all that kind of stuff. I don't think they're going to add Alex Pereira, who we didn't even mention. You know, he said he broke his toe a couple weeks before this fight, came in with an injured toe, didn't want to pull out of that, of this card and everything, and had to push through. But to ask him to do another fight a few weeks later, I don't know if it's the ideal circumstance. And if it did happen, it would be a complete reversal, of course, from everything I'm hearing from various people in the industry. So it's fun to talk about, but I don't think it's happening.
It is fun, and the names that you guys threw out. Well, I don't know about but it would be fun, man. It would be fun, but I'm not for it.
All right, so we all agree. Pereira heavyweight 3 weeks.
No,
That's what
they're
happened,
not
right?
feeling
What
it.
happened in my absence?
They
They're
actually
more
just
likely to
announced
put-
it. It's official, Danny, while you were
Oh,
gone.
there we go. See,
Yeah.
thank you, MMA gods. Thank you so much. Glad
I think
put
you're
that
more
out in the
likely to
universe.
see Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage 2 than Alex Pereira versus the heavyweight at UFC 301. All right. Let's see here. I want to ask you guys though, what is really next for Pereira at 205? Is Ankalaev the slam dunk here, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, if not, not if you want Alex
Or
Pereira to
Ankalaev,
stay
come
UFC
on.
champion.
Give
I mean,
this man a
that
title
the
shot.
thing is, again, I'm in this weird stage where I can't get a read on every Alex Pereira fight. I feel like I get it wrong whether I predict him to win or predict him to lose, whatever. It seems to go the opposite way. But this one, man, like that's his toughest stylistic matchup, Magomed Ankalaev, right? I think that would be pretty much universally agreed. So I don't know if the UFC wants to go that direction, but if Pereira were to beat him, man, that would be so impressive, and I think answer a lot of questions. I mean, he does have a jiu-jitsu black belt now, apparently, even though he didn't go to the ground for a single second in this fight. But yeah, I think for Pereira, that's the one you probably got to do. I mean, you could do the Yuri Prochazka rematch. I don't know if they want to do that quite yet. Yuri was definitely not at his best in their first fight. He barely trained. He had a ton of injuries, and he fought maybe not the smartest fight in the world. So maybe he's learned some lessons, but the way he fought Alexander Rakic, I don't know if that proves true. He might try to fight him the exact same way and just knock him out with someone wild. But yeah, it's got to be the two-man race, right? Like it's either Ankalaev or Prochazka, and man, Ankalaev is on what, a 12-fight unbeaten streak? It's got to be him.
Yeah, I don't see how it's not, and I wonder if that'll take place in Abu Dhabi or if Pereira commands a little bit of if he carries a little bit of weight, maybe he insists on New York or something. But that is a very tough matchup for him, and the UFC has a star on their hands with Alex Pereira. So who knows if they'll try and maybe steer him away from that matchup at least for one more set of fights. I do remember Jan Blachowicz. I thought he was going to get taken down over and over, and he hung tough. So who knows? These guys get better in between fights. Pereira keeps surprising us over and over.
And you can't baby like Pereira's title reign. Like he's gonna have to fight somebody that doesn't favor his style at some point, right? And I think at this point, like 12 fights in, he should have enough experience. Like Mike said, got a black belt. Why not run it? Fuck it. I think it's time. And look at the division. Who else is available? Like, you're gonna do the Prochazka again, really? And then outside of that, like there's nobody. Rakic, Blachowicz, like those are the top guys. I think he's got to be.
Smith gets a big win at UFC 301.
Needs a little bit more. Needs a little bit more.
Exactly.